As Quinn headed down to the VR room, he was suddenly feeling excited. Now with his credits, he could spend as much time in the game as he wanted and practice the skills until he got tired of it. Eventually, though, the best thing would be for Quinn to purchase a capsule of his own. That way, he could play the game in his room and connect to players not just within the military camps. But just remembering the price of the thing made him shudder. 100,000 credits. To purchase the item, he would need 10 advanced tier crystals or 100 intermediate tier crystals. To get that sort of money would take him years. It was a shame Quinn thought that he couldn't use the system to reproduce the weapons again and again. If so, he would be able to have an unlimited supply of money. But it did make him wonder if there was any way he could exploit the system in some way. Then the idea hit him. He already knew all the items needed to make the weapons. In fact, the gauntlets he was using now only required 3 beasts crystals. As long as he gave the items and his original gauntlets as a reference, a blacksmith should be able to reverse engineer and create something similar. Let's see, 3,000 coins for the material, then 2,000 for the blacksmith fee. That's 5,000 coins in total. Then if I sell it on the marketplace for 8,000 coins, that would be 3,000 in profit. Quinn quickly realized the problem with his plan. The profit earned from selling the weapons would not be enough to cover the cost of making the weapons again. He would either himself need a large amount of capital in the first place, or find an investor who was interested in the idea. "I would be careful if I was you," the system said in a serious tone, different from its usual self. "Do you remember when you searched for the items from the shop, how none of them appeared on the marketplace? Well, there's a reason for that." "Which is?" "These weapons and the blueprints that were used to create them don't belong to humans." Quinn didn't need to hear him say the name. He knew what the system was talking about. They belonged to the vampires. "I'm afraid if you start mass-producing these items and start selling them to the public, they will start looking for you." "So I guess that rules out the plan." "I never said you couldn't. I just said to be careful." For now, perhaps Quinn would have to put his money-making plan on hold. He still wasn't strong enough to deal with other humans, never mind vampires, and besides, he didn't have an investor or someone who could back him up anyway. Finally, Quinn had arrived at the VR center and went up to the counter. This time he deposited 100 credits into his account, so he would have 10 hours of playing time. He wasn't planning to play it at once, but this way he wouldn't be interrupted. It was early in the morning, so there weren't a lot of people around yet. Besides, people didn't usually want to spend their weekends playing a game all day. Quinn made sure he was in between his own capsule and another. He looked around and then, when no one was looking, opened up his dimensional void to pull out his boots and gauntlets. He placed them both in the scanner, and when the process was finished, proceeded to put them away back in his dimensional void again. "Welcome, Bloody Volver." After entering the pod, he was transported to the blank white space. The first thing Quinn tried to do was look at the ability list. He scrolled and scrolled, but it was as he thought. The game system had no such ability. He tried to use his shadow abilities just as he had done his blood abilities. However, this time they did not work. Can the system not record mutant cells? Is that why the abilities have to be manually inputted? Quinn didn't really know the answer to his own question, and to be honest, not many people would, so there was no need for him to worry about it for now. All he did know was his blood abilities worked in the game, while his shadow abilities did not. But then there was also his new ability, Daze, that wasn't part of the shadow. Before going into matchmaking, Quinn wanted to make sure he had a hang of the new tutorial he had been shown. In the game, it didn't take up any of his health, and he could use his blood skills as many times as he wanted. He watched the video one more time as a reference before trying to perform the skill himself. On his first try, he was quite successful. Unlike the other skills, there really wasn't much to learn. It was more a sense of timing, activating his blood spray skill at the same time as his hammer strike. Quinn then started to throw out a few regular punches while activating blood spray, only at the point where his arms would fully extend. Sometimes he would activate it too early, causing his arms to jerk back a little, and sometimes he was successful. The most important thing was to get the hang of the timing, activating it at that right point. After practicing non-stop for around 30 minutes, his success rate of using blood spray with his punches was around 80%. With hammer strike, he could get it nearly 100% of the time, but like the system had said, it took longer to charge up the hammer strike when combining it with the blood spray. Time to test out these new skills. Searching for same-level opponents. The fact that Quinn was a level 1 still meant he was able to search for opponents at the same level as himself. To start off with, he just wanted some easy picking to test out his skills, but the second he started to search, his player ID had gone online. "Oh, I haven't seen him in a while," Nate said. "I thought he might have stopped playing the game." Ever since Nate had fought against the Blood Evolver, he had gained an interest in the opponent, mainly because of the type of ability he had. "Now spectating Blood Evolver." But he wasn't the only one keeping an eye on him. So was Logan. The forum post had long since died down, but it still bugged Logan that there could be someone taking advantage of the game he helped create. He had set up the system so it would ping him as soon as the Blood Evolver went online. Then he could spectate his games without having the need to be on his friends list. "Come on, let's see how you do it," Logan said as he waited for the Blood Evolver to find his next game. There was a part of him that was hoping the videos were fake. He needed to see it with his own eyes, whether or not someone was able to break the system. After searching for a minute or so, a suitable opponent was found. Each player's avatars had entered the game. Equipped with his new boots and gauntlets, his stats were as high as they ever had been. Strength 16 plus 6, Stamina 15, Agility 16 plus 4, Charm 5. The countdown began, and the game had started. In an instant, Quinn rushed forward. With his new boots, he felt lighter and faster than ever. "These things are amazing!" The first fight was simply a test of everything he could do. While running, he decided to activate the skill from the boots, increasing his speed even further for another 30 seconds. He would run from side to side. His opponent found it nearly impossible to keep up with him. It was like looking at a fly. 1 second he could keep track of it, then suddenly it would change direction and he would lose it. The user then prepared the water held in his hand and started to form a long blade with it. After running around the room for 30 seconds, the boots had finally worn off, and now Quinn was heading straight for his opponent. 5-minute cooldown before Wind Run can be used again. "He's really going to just run straight at me?" the user thought, and when Quinn was close enough, he swung his water blade across right at him. "I probably won't die if that thing hits me, but time to try it out." He looked the user in the eye and for the first time activated his new skill. "Daze has been activated. Your opponent has been stunned." Suddenly a fear had set into the water user's mind. A shiver was sent down his spine, and when he tried to move his hand, there was no response. Quinn then threw out his fist, and right when it landed on the user's stomach, he activated his blood spray at the same time. The user was sent flying through the air, and a trail of splattered blood followed, leaving Quinn's gauntlets. "Winner, Blood Evolver." It had only taken a single punch with blood spray to finish his opponent off. "Looks like all my vampire abilities work here, not just my blood skills. Well, that's good to know." Logan had watched the whole thing. He couldn't believe it. It was true the user could use some type of red energy. It didn't look like any ability he knew of, but that wasn't the problem. Logan had even checked beforehand and confirmed that Quinn had selected no ability before entering the game. He quickly started typing rapidly onto his keyboard and searched for any information he could pull. Most of the information was scrambled for the user's safety. He couldn't find out who was in the pod, but he could find out other information. After typing away for a few minutes, he finally found the information he needed. "User Blood Evolver, login location Military Base 2. "Oh, will you look at that? It seems like we're quite close after all," Logan said, smiling at his computer screen.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.